Welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, a member of the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're streaming live via Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, bringing you the latest in fishing tips, gear reviews with our friend from Payne Outdoors, Chris Payne, as well as some local and regional tournament news. We'll bring you on some special guests to talk kayak fishing. Now, let's join John Rapp, your host. Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast on our premiere, live, raw, and unfiltered on the Paddle and Fin Podcast page, network page. Really excited about being a part of the new network of shows. Really appreciate Brian Schiller bringing me on board. Had a little bit of difficulty here because it's a new stream. I'm streaming to their page and not my page. So we are not live on YouTube or Twitch. So I've got some bugs to work out. If you're aware, as you can tell here, guys, my setup is not run on StreamYard. It is run here on Streamlabs OBS. So you're going to see a little bit of a different show format and network here. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of the Paddle and Fin group. Oh, hey, we're getting a phone call here. Oh, hey, check this out, guys. Oh, wow, it's the PODFather himself. Man.
What's up, Big Daddy?
Hey, man. Welcome to
the family, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I hope everything worked out well. I had a little difficulties, but I had to go Facebook only to be able to go to our page here at the Paddle and Fin Podcast. So no YouTube, no Facebook or Twitch. But I'm with you, baby. I'm here and live. So
I like it, man.
Appreciate it.
Well, it's good to have you, your listeners, your followers, man. We're super jacked. We finally did it. We got you. So we're happy that you're here and part of the podcast, man.
Well, you know, I always felt like I wasn't worthy, and I had to work hard to get my stuff right because I didn't want to come in.
Yeah, I told you for a year straight that wasn't the case.
Well, I appreciate you letting me having me on board, man. So I'm going to kick this show into gear, and hopefully we do you proud. So
we love it, man. Have a good show, man, and again, welcome, brother.
Thank you, Brian.
Happy to hear, man.
Appreciate you, Brian.
All right, brother. Be good.
All right, that was the PODFather Brian Schiller. He gave us a buzz to see what was going on. So. Hey, while I'm thinking of it, okay, let me bring this up here. Brian has, let's see if I can get that back up. He and his guys are affiliated with Waypoint Outdoors TV. So, if you're sitting at home and you're watching this on your cell phone, you don't have to do that. If you got a Stream Stick, a Roku, a Fire Stick, go to your menu and download the Waypoint app and go to the podcast areas, and you will see the Paddle and Fin Network. So check them out. Anyway, I got a good little lineup here for you tonight. I've got one of my regular guests is Chris Payne of Payne Outdoors. And then I've had another guy that comes on my show quite a bit. He is a huge stick in the West Virginia area. And for you guys from Paddle and Fin, the followers of that show, the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast is located, or where I'm located at, here in West Virginia. I am streaming here via my hotspot. I'm at the Tractor Bar and Grill. These folks here are kind enough to let me use their new conference center. They're going to have their grand opening on Thursday. Then they've got weddings and other things booked, lined up for their conference room here. So I really appreciate Steve and Mary offering the room to me. And Taco Tuesday is always pretty awesome too. So anyway, I want to dial up my boy Mark Edwards and get him on the show. So let's hang tight. Mark lives out in the country. He's out in the sticks. I know I chatted with him a little bit ago to see if he was going to be able to jump on. He should be pulling in the driveway any time. Looks like we've got him on. Yeah, he's still in the vehicle. Ha ha.
Yo.
Hey, Mark, turn your phone to the side, brother.
Yeah, we'll pull in here, Sun Valley.
Oh, okay, awesome, buddy. Hey, so to let
Yeah,
you...
right here, look at this. It's got shade trees here now. It's crazy. There wasn't even, I didn't think there were trees here when I was a kid.
There probably wasn't, man. They probably when you were a kid, they probably still had dinosaurs running around Sun Valley, man. No, I'm thinking about myself. I apologize. So we got Mark Edwards here, guys. If you all don't know who Mark Edwards is, he's a stick. And let's do a little quick intro here with his stats, Mark. Mark Edwards, live, raw, and unfiltered. Buddy, you're not on the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. You are on the Paddle and Fin Podcast. So I've joined up with those guys, and they gave me a stream key. We're streaming live with them. So introduce yourself to those folks. I know you've been on their show a couple times over the past couple years, but just introduce yourself and tell everybody what you fish out of and what you do. So.
Yeah, I really got interested in kayak fishing just because I'm like really competitive. And anyway, so I got into kayak fishing about 5 or 6 years ago. And I come from the boat world, so I've been fishing for a long time, bass fishing tournaments, and the stability of my native Titan 12, it reminds me more of the bass boat. It's really stable. I ain't got to worry about flipping. I can carry lots of gear. And I travel the country fishing. I haven't fished a Hobie yet, but I fished all the Bass Masters this year. Previous years, I fished a lot of KBF. But I enjoy the competition and going to new lakes and stuff. And really the state, I mean, I fished a whole lot of new water in West Virginia, and that's been fun.
Well, one thing that these folks, I would recommend and invite you to go look at Mark's Tourney X profile. And you're going to see all the top 5 finishes because I was the managing director of the West Virginia Kayak Anglers over the last 4 years before Greg cooked over. And when Mark came to our group, he stormed it. He has either finished second 2 or 3 times in the Angler of the Year race. He's also finished first in the Southern West Virginia Kayak Anglers Tournament Trail, Mountain State Kayak Anglers Tournament Trails. And as you saw earlier with his little bio that I threw up, Mark last year stormed the very first Bass National event, Kayak National event, and was on the stage with the top 2. Unfortunately, he was just a little bit short, finished second, but still, we were proud of him. He represented our area extremely well. So, Mark, you may have touched base on it, but tell them about what you paddle out of again, what you carry, and your type of fishing techniques.
I've got several different native kayaks. I got a native Titan 12, and I'm right beside the highway right now. So if you hear stuff going by, it's loud on my end. I don't know how it is on y'all's end, but
you sound good, bro.
I mainly fish out the native Titan 12. I fish out of it 90% of the time. But then if I fish a small river or lake, I got a Max Slayer 12.5, and I also got a Slayer 10. That's my first kayak. I still got it, but it's really good for. It only weighs 62 pounds, and you can take it in real remote areas real easy.
And
Still
now,
stable.
I know you are not one of those guys that just takes 1 or 2 fishing poles. So talk about your setup, what you do in the back of that kayak, if you have any room left.
Yeah, I carry too much gear. I push the limits. I keep trying to add another one or more tackle every time, and really, it can hurt you in a way. But there's been times that it's helped me out. Cause, and one of the keys to my success is that I fish the moment. I don't get stuck up on what they bit yesterday or the day before or a couple of years ago. I fish every day like it's a practice day.
Now I know you've talked with us before on the Rusty Hook, and we've did some segments on power fishing and finesse fishing, and you're normally a power fisherman, but your latest successes have come with finesse fishing. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how it's got you right now? The reason, guys, we brought Mark on the show is that yesterday when I got home from work, Beth came in the house and she threw a paper at me, and it was one of those little Bass Nation flyers. And so I'm flying through it, and I look in the back on page 22 or 26 or somewhere back in the back. I see an article about the Bass Kayak Nation, and I'm reading through it, and it says Larry Edwards, which always throws us off here in West Virginia. Who is Larry Edwards? And then we're like, that's Mark. But again, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm proud of your accomplishments and what we saw in the paper. But to get to the second place Angler of the Year, I think you're only like 5 points behind first. What techniques have you done this year that's been made you so successful?
It's just a variety. I just keeping an open mind is really what's been my success. Because we've been everywhere. That's the one thing about this series is they only give us 3 days to practice, which I really like. Because actually everywhere that we've been to has been new to me, except Pickwick, which is our last tournament. And I don't think any of the other tournaments that, like Lake Fork, I hadn't been to Lake Fork, Harris Chain, I had never been there. I never fished Florida. And then I never fished Smith Lake, was their last event. And I was really hoping I could do better at Smith Lake. I've had really good success at spotted bass in Alabama. And I caught 3 good fish. I lost a few fish that hurt. But the versatility is really what's been the key. Because every tournament, I've caught them off something different. And then actually, like Smith was their last tournament. I think I caught my 3 big ones on 3 different baits, 3 biggest fish.
Awesome.
So because the conditions change all the time. Throughout the day, in the morning you might have a morning bite, and then once the sun comes up, you gotta start doing something a little different.
Well, I know you had that kind of success when we had the flooded tournament on the Elk, and you went back into the backwaters of where the water comes into the lake, and you smashed them back there with a spinner bait. So your techniques, you're not a one technique wizard. You are multifaceted in your approach, and that's probably what makes you so good.
Well, that's the deal with fishing, man. At Smith, I had a decent practice, and I was catching on a spinner bait, and a chatterbait also. And during the tournament, I caught my first keeper in the first 10 minutes on a spinnerbait. And I thought, I never caught a big fish in practice, but I thought, I'll get a decent limit and then worry about catching a big one the rest of the day. Well, dude, I didn't get another bite. And it was just, that first keeper was like a 12-inch or 12 and a quarter. And I didn't get another keeper for 3 hours. And I tried docks, but it was early. And the docks got better as the day went on. And I kind of messed up. I was going with that dock pattern, and kind of hit it too early. You know, it's all timing deal, and I hit that a little too early, and I wasn't getting bit, and then I'm like, they ain't hitting a spinnerbait neither, and I switched to a chatterbait and lost a really good one, and then I actually put a trailer hook on a chatterbait, which is, I mean, that's a juicy tip, really. A lot of people don't do that, but whenever they're short striking, it helped me out. I caught a 19-something spot, and then I still had another short striker too, so I took the same collar. I made it's a balsa crankbait. It's a black label balsa crankbait that was about the same color as my chatterbait, and I caught my next big fish on it. So, I mean, I was still throwing a moving bait, but then I threw a treble hook moving bait. And, you know, I caught another big fish on it. And I finished out a limit with a shaky head, and I ended up catching another 18-something on a shaky head. And I should have, yeah, I'm second in the points right now, but I'm kicking myself because I've lost a lot of fish. I should probably be leading it, but all of us has lost fish.
Right.
And with only one tournament left, it's pretty much come down to four of us has got to, you know, is one of the four is probably going to win it.
So what's the plan? I mean, where is your next tournament at, and what do you think will take to win it versus the other four?
The key is, you know, when you fish angler of the year, you know, when you're doing points deal, you always got to get a limit. You know what I'm saying? And then
right.
I mean, you want to just target big fish, you know, in a perfect world, but legitimately you got to get a limit. And with it being on Pickwick Lake in the fall, it's going to be, I think it's around October 9th and 10th or something. So that's a pretty tough time to fish, really. I mean, kind of feast or famine. A lot of fish school, you know, schooling fish, and it's probably one of the toughest times to fish, to be honest with you. September is probably the worst. In October, they start transitioning to the fall. Whenever they transition, it's going to be tougher too because they move.
Just definitely hope that the weather holds out and you don't have that thermocline thrown into the mix and throwing that water all in flux.
Oh, yeah, well, a turnover or something, which will happen down the lake. But Pickwick's a very, very big lake, and it's a versatile lake. I mean, you got pretty much the river at Florence, and I think that's where the meetings and stuff's out of Florence, Alabama. Because the Tennessee end, I mean, it's an hour drive, and that's the lake part. But most of the tournaments are won around the Natchez Bridge. That area, it has most of your ledges and big grass flats and just a lot of versatility stuff. There's a lot of docks. Most all your big tournaments are won in that area.
Well, all I can tell you, buddy, all I can say is that you have our support, and we're pulling for you here from the Mountain State. All the three clubs definitely are going to be out there throwing you all the goodwill and luck that we can give you, and we wish you the best. And I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your secrets of success. I thought when I started this show that we were on the Paddle and Fin page, but I'm looking and it looks like I'm live on the Rusty Hook. So, Brian, I don't know what happened. I apologize, Brian Schiller, but we'll definitely get that fixed. But hey, I appreciate you, brother, and I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna go a quick break, and then we're gonna get Chris Payne on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, John.
Hey, man,
have a good evening.
I appreciate you. I know you were rushing from work to get to. I know you work 12-hour days all the time, and I appreciate you taking a few moments before you went home to talk to us. So.
Yeah, I got to pay for his gas money.
All right, guys, that was Mark Edwards. He jumped on, runs from the vehicle, and we appreciate him taking a few moments to talk with us. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. This segment is sponsored by Yak Gadget. Coogan Brothers Custom Tackle. Outdoors. Feel free kayaks. All right, hey guys, we're back. I appreciate everybody's been on. We've been live now for 21 minutes, and I see that my boys, Tim Isaacs jumped on, said hi. Nicholas Beltran from Florida, Mike and Rodden there. We got Stevie Napolitano over in Mass. Frizzy from Florida, Stormy is watching. Heath, my old buddy Heath, and Jason Stauffer. Hey guys, thanks for taking a few moments of your time to jump on the show and see what we're doing today. So hey, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm gonna dial up my boy Chris and get him on the show. Chris has got some stuff that he wants to talk about from a recent article that he just published. I think it's gonna be a pretty good thing. So let's see if we can get him on here, live, raw, and unfiltered. So hey, bring on Chris Payne from Payne Outdoors.
Hey, John.
Hey, Chris. Good to see you, Big Daddy. I see you're back in the Mad Kitchen.
Yeah.
What are you into and what's going on?
Well, I am. I'm making a special craw for the Etowah River. That came to me custom, and they had an idea of what they wanted. So I'm cooking up something different, something that's not really on the market. So it'll be a one-of-a-kind, unique crawl pattern.
Outstanding, man. So what does that mold look like? You have it where you can show it, or is it already got plastics in it burning?
It already has plastics in it burning. I don't even think I have one to look at. No, I don't. Give me about 3 minutes, and once this cools, I can show it to you.
Sounds good. Well, while we're waiting for that to cool there in the kitchen, I noticed that you recently have been sharing and you published an article on pedal drives. What was your inspiration behind that? And give us some little feedback on that.
Well, it's kind of twofold. So there's a lot of people kind of looking to get into pedals. I think as more and more people dip their toe in competitive kayak fishing, they realize that pedals can help you cover a lot more water with less fatigue, and there's more fishing time, and so there's an advantage to that. And not everybody allows motors yet, and some people just don't want to deal with the motor. Quite frankly, like I don't want to. I'm not planning at this moment to add one to my NAR.
That DMV process can be a pain in the rear end trying to get everything, especially here in West Virginia.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was part of it. Lots of folks asking, which one's the best one, and I really wanted to try to do something that was a little less, fanboy, and a little more informative. Kind of an all-inclusive, well, as much as I could include. Like, it is impossible to cover all of the different knockoff brand drives and stuff like that, but I think we got most of the main, kayak brand drives in the article, talking about the different styles of drives. So, the down tube and the fins and prop drives and ones that have a kick-up function and ones that don't. And, I didn't go into motors or paddles because I think for the most part, save for maybe the feel-free overdrive, motors can be added to really any kayak. So the kayak body doesn't matter as much if you're going to get a motor. Because the motor, you can put a Motor Guide XI3 on anything, really. And paddles, I mean, I've used my Bending Branches Angler Pro since 2015 with probably, 40 different kayaks. So what I wanted to do is cover pedals. I also wanted to kind of cut through some of a little bit of, I don't know, tribalism, I guess is the right word for it. Because there are some people who believe that there is one best drive for everybody.
Hey Chris,
And,
I got to tell you this, but our guest that was just on the show had a comment on that aspect of your thought.
Okay.
Motors rule, paddlers drool. Mark Edwards, you're in the hot seat, buddy.
Well, enjoy that. I've had motors on kayaks before, and I don't like dealing with it. And I'm not fishing these national events where you've got to do a week of pre-fishing and cover all this other stuff. Like, I'm not doing that. That's fine for the guys that are. Man, God bless you. Good luck. But for me, that's not the thing. And I think realistically, guys who are going to put a motor on their kayak don't care as much about what the pedal system is. And so I wanted to make an all-inclusive article, as much as you really can, under 2,000 words, that kind of talked about the pros and cons of all of them, like absolutely all of them. And I've been in, I think everyone that I covered, I've been in. So, I tested out a lot of in 2016, the Old Town PDL drive. I was one of the first ones to test that at ICAST at an on the water event. We didn't even know it was going to be there. I've gotten to play in the feel freeze and with the overdrive and all of that. I've had Hobies, the big Hobies and everything. I did separate out in the article the 360 drive from the Indy 180, the Mirage Drive 180 drives, and then separated out the fin drives that are off of the old Hobie design where the patent expired. So kind of your Vibe Shearwater, Pelican Catch 120s, and stuff like that, to talk about pros and cons and just give guys an idea of what the price range of those kayaks with those drives, like what they are. Like if you want to get into a Jackson kayak with the new Mark IV belt drive, which is a completely new drive this year, then you're going to pay $3,000 and up. If you want to get into a Hobie 360, you're going to pay over $5,000.
Right.
If you want to get into, and I tried to break it down because there are some kayaks that you can get with pedal drives that are $1,400 or $999, like that. So I just walked through that. I hope that people will go read it. It's on my site. It's also on Jackson's site. And just kind of walk through that and point people to it as a resource. I say in the end what I ended up choosing and kind of why, but I think a lot of things that people don't take into account are their physical health when they think about a pedal drive. They're like, well, pedaling will be easier than paddling. I have bad shoulders. Okay, that's good, but how are your knees, how are your ankles, how are your hips? Because the motion of the pedal drive is different in some of the boats. If you're using a fin drive, it is significantly different than a prop drive because one is a bicycle motion and one is what I ended up calling in the article kind of a recumbent stair climber motion. And so I think that's an important aspect for people to take into account. Availability of parts is important. How easy is it to deal with customer service, things like that. I didn't dive into that too much. It's more mechanics.
Oh yeah, because your article would have been a book if you had to go into all those different segments.
Yeah, and that's the problem is it changes, right? It changes probably every 90 days. There's another something introduced to the market, and so it would be a book with 94 revisions, pretty quickly.
It's definitely not the same market that we watched back in 2014 and 15 when there were only maybe one or two drives out there. So now just about everybody's got something out there. So
yeah, and I did some consulting, and I actually recommended to a couple of companies that they not go the route of pedals. And they're like, but everybody's going to pedals. And I said, yes, but if you think about where the market's going, pedals are going to become more of a rec thing, and motors are going to become more of the tournament thing. So if you're looking at building a tournament boat, you need to think about motors, not pedals.
That's one of the things that when I was at ICAST, we had our product designer from Taiwan, Peter, was in, and all of our feel-free boats do not have the the 4-hole access on the boats where you can just mount a motor. You have to buy an accessory plate to put it on. So that's one of the things. That's one of the things I'm pretty confident that he's going back and going to reconfigure the rear end of some of these boats. So in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll see our kayaks coming out more motor ready.
Yeah, I think we went into a weird trend. We went from pedals to power poles, and then to motors.
Yes.
Like everybody was building that four square configuration on the back of their boats for the power poles, and man, I don't even know that many people that are fishing with power poles still.
It seems like it died real quick.
Well, when Spotlock came out, it was dead.
Yep.
Like it was gone. Here's that bait that I'm making.
Oh, nice, very nice. So
that's our rock crawl pattern. Those are available on the website. But I'm using this orange as the pincher color, and what I'm about to do is I'm about to cut these down and then reshoot it with what I'm going to use for the body color.
I got you.
So, well, what else is good with you?
No, doing well. Had a good time at ICAST. I don't know if you got to see. We drove 49 hours in 9 days. I know Brian Schiller, you can probably add about 8 hours to his total. But we fished Gunnersville, Fellsmere. We went to Crystal City and fished the coast, and then of course we worked the show. So it was a good time. It was hard work, but it was a good time. A little bit of fun.
That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, that show is good because you get to see a bunch of people that you don't normally get to see all year.
Exactly. And
meet some new people, and that the fellowship part of that is fun. But don't ever sign yourself up with a vendor to go to ICAST if you're not ready to stand on your feet 12 hours a day on hard concrete and have to talk to about 4 billion people. Because you better know your stuff if you go as well. If you go as media, it's a different experience because you get to ask all the questions. But if you are working, most people will get in working for one of their, pro staff or pro team or field team or something like that.
Exhibitor.
Most people get in that way. Mm-hmm. And you better know your product because everybody under the sun is going to ask you every question you ever thought plus some. So, but it's a good time. I don't think my old knees can take it. The last time I was there was 2019, and I had to negotiate the times that I was going to be at the show because like that 8 o'clock to 6 business, and then go into the after hours mixers and awards and all of that stuff. I can't take it. It's too long.
That's
too much concrete.
That's what I've sort of nixed all the after hour stuff, and I just go out to dinner with a few select people, and then we go back to the house and relax for an hour or two, talk with the group, and then we crash and get ready for the next day. But yeah, I seen a few people come in looking a little rough the next day.
Yeah, and it's almost always that Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Because Tuesday is on the water day and it's kind of short and there's no real booth activity going on, and so they're kind of fine Wednesday morning. Like, they haven't put in 12 hours, but some of those guys, they'll put in 12 hours and then go hard until 1 or 2 in the morning, and then try to go crash and then get back up in 3 or 4 hours and work a 12-hour day on concrete on Thursday.
No.
Oh boy.
And that 100-degree weather doesn't help much too when the dehydration kicks in.
Yeah, and that was the thing that I always loved about Outdoor Retailer in Salt Lake, is it was always gorgeous. Like, the weather was great, and it was a little bit different show. Not quite as kayak heavy, but it was nice. And then they modified all that, but.
So what else? What else you got on your front burner, brother? I know you're the last few times we've been out of contact here for the last few weeks. Your plastics. I guess you got a new plastics supplier now that you're back up in the full speed. Okay. Yeah,
I'm back up and going, and I've got, let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm probably good for the next 300 bags of plastics or so.
Outstanding.
So,
any new molds other than the one you just showed us?
Yeah. So I've got the pictures up on the website, but the double tap worm is new. It is it's an elongated body worm that has it's like a
dual ribbon.
No. It's here. I'll just show you. I'll pop this mold open and show you what it looks like.
Oh yeah, right back, angled, right there. So okay, right there. Yeah. So it's not a dual ribbon. It's just a like a okay.
It's got 2 kickers coming off of it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Okay, nice. What are those? 7 inches.
Yeah, it's a 7-inch worm. You can cut it down. The body is pretty much the same width all the way down, so you could cut it down to 5 if you wanted a 5-inch worm.
Gotcha.
But it's puts off a lot of vibrations. Good kick. If you like to use a shaky head, that's a pretty stout little dude right there, because it'll stand up and it'll dance and it'll tail flip, and then dragging it through the water, it does this kind of mermaid kick thing. It's really good action on that. I'm trying to think. I've been making a lot of 10-inch worms, a lot of lizards, and a lot of murder hornets lately. That seems to be the hot ticket. So yeah, I don't know if guys are catching them or stocking up, but.
Well, hey guys, appreciate you guys watching Chris and I chat about all things kayak fishing. We got Joe Farsons, Mark Edwards is on there giving us a hard time, and then we got Steve still with us, Jason's with us, Heath is with us. So appreciate you guys chilling, watching with us. Keep the comments rolling. Let us know if there's anything that you want to see Chris make in the future. It's can't believe it's August and already, and so it's that time of year to start throwing that top water. The water's hot. You got to get out early, and
yep. So if you've got a lot of vegetation, one of the things that that you might think about is fish that fluke weightless, or load up on our bomb shads if you've got some bigger bodied stuff that you want to throw. So our bomb shad is about the size of a Zara spook. The body in the girth of it and everything.
No,
and
Mark.
You can
no.
chunk that.
Mark Edwards, he is tearing us up today. He's telling us to throw a banjo minnow.
Oh my God!
I love you, Mark.
John, you're going to have to talk to your booker about getting some different guests.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. We're going to have to after Mark comes on the show and gives his expert take on things. We're going to have to mute him after that because he wants to give us a hard time, doesn't he? Now, one of the things I actually tried what you were just talking about. When I was at Guntersville, I've never fished that kind of grass. And I had one frog and I lost it. So I had to dig through my bag and I found some Z-Man, like their version of the frog. And I didn't want to throw it with any weight, so I Texas rigged it. And it actually worked for me. I caught 3 fish around docks. I skip it up underneath the docks and drag it through. And I caught 3 largemouth. I see we got a Canadian visitor. Antoine Ganon is watching from Canada. Congratulations
from the great country of Canada.
Yeah, congratulations on your victories, Antoine. It was great to meet you at ICAST and look forward to talking and seeing with you more in the future, brother. So what are you mixing, man? You throwing some flake in there, or you got some?
Yeah, so that's some copper flake. I'm adding a little bit of black, and we're basically the color that I'm working with is going to mimic kind of a scuppernong color.
Okay.
For the craw body. Apparently in the Etowah they don't turn some of the colors that we see in other places, and so this will be a much closer match to what those body styles are. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Show you what we're doing here.
Oh yeah, it's like a motor oil from the view that I'm looking at there. Looks
it's got a touch more green in it than the normal motor oil would, and then with that copper flake and that black flake in there, it'll pop. And then in the orange that we cut down the pinchers, we also have the copper and the black. So one of the things that we try to do when we're making these baits natural is you'll notice that speckles. So speckles in a fish, they'll have those colors all the way throughout, not just in part of it. And so to make it more natural, we try to carry over as much as we can. If we're mixing dual colors and doing laminates and stuff like that, anytime that it's possible. Especially when you're dealing with crustaceans or like bluegill, brim, pumpkin seeds, stuff like that. Those colors radiate throughout their body, not just in part of it.
Right.
So here we go. We're going to shoot this. I'm going to hold that, and hopefully these bonded, and then in about 3 minutes, we'll be able to pop it open and see what it looks like.
Outstanding.
But, you know, there has been a lot of talk about pedal drives. You know, I know we kind of went down that route a little bit here. I think the biggest thing that you can do when you're trying to get into your first pedal drive is find a demo day. And I know people kind of roll their eyes and like, oh yeah, but if you can find a spread where you can try 10 different kayaks, or you can talk to a dealer and say, hey, I want to try the different styles, right? I want to try an overdrive. I want to try, you know, a Mirage drive, and I want to try the new Jackson drive. If you can find a dealer that can set that up for you, or maybe you have to hit 2 dealers to make that happen, on the water time, like butt in the seat time, like there's nothing like it, because you can guess, but until you do the motion and see the effort and the torque that it takes to spin the pedals or push the pedals or whatever you're doing, it's really hard to do that. And so I make this plea every year, and it's, you know, for people to be a little less fanboy and ask more questions before they make a recommendation. But, you know, it is what it is. People will go on to, you know, a Facebook group or, you know, something like that and be like, hey, thinking about pedal drives, what should I get? Well,
every pro staff is out there.
Yeah, you should get an XYZ, whatever they're supporting.
I always
and that's not actually helpful.
no, my comment is always, okay, there's factors you have to take into play. Your age, your health, your abilities, because different boats have different stability points, and if you're a 400-pound guy who has very no core strength, and you want to try to get your legs up to paddle it or to push them pedals, I mean, it can be difficult. And seat height can be a difference, angles of the seat. It's just, and that's why it's so key on what you said there is that, if you can catch a boat, a dealership, like a group that we have that's getting ready to come on board with us, and I don't know if I told you or not, but Fletch Griffin's going to come on with us. He's going to be a partner to the show, Westbrook Supply, and he has more than one dealer. He deals with New Canoe, he deals with Feel Free, and he can, and like you said, he has a demo day. He can take you out there and you can test out numerous types of boats to see which one best meets your requirements.
Yeah,
So-
it's definitely the way to go, especially if you're going to drop, $4,000 on a kayak.
Yeah.
That's smart shopping right there, because for anybody who doesn't know, there's typically no returns on kayaks. Like, that's
No,
just not a thing.
As soon as you
You walk out
buy,
the showroom.
you're only going to
Sure.
get 70% of it within the first 6 months. After a year, you're only going to probably get 55 to 60% of what the value of it is. Daniel Dockery from Florida, it's good to see you, buddy. God bless you. Keep hammering them.
Unless I'm fishing against you, and then please don't.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to crack this open. It's not quite all the way cool, but I'm like a kid at Christmas. I want to open my present and see how it did.
Oh, yeah, it looks great, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look at that.
That looks awesome.
So, for those of you who don't know, I make plastic baits. I sell them at PayneOutdoors.com. And just click on the store button or go to PayneOutdoors.com/store. You can see all of our body styles. And if you want a custom color, like you want me to try to match your grandpa's favorite color or something like that, just hit me up in my messages. Like, hit me up on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
And you just
whatever.
Seen how he does it. I mean, he sits there. He'll cut and paste, and he'll throw plastics into a mold. He'll trim a little piece off, put some more on. That looks outstanding, bro. And it's summertime, and guys are moving to the swifter water, the rivers, and that will be the ticket.
Yeah, that's money. I like this one. This may be I don't know. I'll have to talk to the dude that asked me to make it. I may want to offer this as a standard color in rock crawl.
Oh, definitely. Did you write down everything? You got all your mixes in?
Oh,
outstanding.
Yeah, I've got all my recipes. They're on my phone and then back up to the cloud, and I've got notebooks that also have all the recipes in them. All the different stuff. So I've got the analog and digital copies of all of those.
Well, hey, we've been on about 50 minutes, bro. I guess we'll go ahead and start wrapping up. What can we look forward to here in the near future with Payne Outdoors?
I think we're probably going to do some more articles for people who are curious about the NAR. I'm going to really start to dissect it. I'm not going to do so much a broad overview of the features and stuff, but more things to look for. So as I was assembling some different parts and stuff, there are some tips and tricks that can save you a little bit of time. So those will be coming out soon. We're also going to talk about
TikTok. Are they going to be TikTok videos, or are they going to be just articles?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. Just depending on how long it takes to talk about the comments or talk about the content. I'll probably do some videos on some of the utility box adjustments and things like that, because it's much easier to see it than to try to explain it with words.
Well, when you get those done, man, let's premiere those videos right here.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Oh, and one other thing, a lot of people have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, you can go to Payne Outdoors on TikTok, and I think it's also on Facebook and Instagram. But we show guys how I load my 150-pound kayak on top of my Subaru Forester.
Nice.
So I'm car topping a 150-pound kayak. So if you are like, man, I can't have a trailer, I live, in a place where I've got, limited restrictions,
Right.
An HOA or something like that, where I can't just have a trailer out, or if you just don't want to deal with a trailer, right? Having to pull something and having, because trailers, bearings go out and you get flats, and it's just one more thing to think about, and they get stolen. And so if you're wanting to car top a bigger kayak, with the method that I show in those videos, using the Rhino Rack T loader and a 2-inch hitch with some crossbars, like you could put a PA 360, you can put the NAR, you can put a fill-free Dorado, you can put any of those kayaks with even my bad rotator cuffs. I can get them loaded up on top and unloaded without issue.
Outstanding.
So make sure you check out that video.
Looking forward to it, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. I know you've been busy, and we'll touch base in the next week and get ready for next Tuesday.
Okay, sounds
All right,
good.
brother. All right, thank you, Chris.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
that's on my boy Chris Payne, live, raw, and unfiltered from his Mad Kitchen in Texas. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us again tonight. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Apparently, I still have some bugs to work out with the software here. When we kicked off the show, I had targeted the Paddle and Fin podcast Facebook page where Brian gave me admin rights, and I have to be an admin to do that. And when I hit start stream, it gave me an error. So I went ahead and clicked on another button and said go live anyway, and eliminated the Twitch and the YouTube uploads, which apparently it defaulted to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing page. And I appreciate the guys that did jump on over here and watch. And Brian, if you get a moment or two, maybe we can download this and upload it over to that page. But anyway, God bless you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Make sure you go check out the audio version of this on Anchor FM. When you're driving down the road, you can watch it or listen to it. And be blessed, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.